Okay, so now quadrant 3. So quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 are going to go a little faster because it's pretty much the same thing about the unit circle, just repeats itself, just in different quadrants. Okay, so I have my triangles up here that I've been using. So for the first one, so after 180, it's 210. So that triangle is going to go, it's going to go right there. Okay. So again, it's the same triangle I've been using, just reflected from the last quadrant and kind of rotated from the first quadrant. Okay. So again, this guy right here, so this is the angle, this is the reference angle. Okay. This reference angle, since this is 210, since this guy right here is 210, this is going to be a 30-degree reference angle. So a 30, 60, 90. Okay. So again, it's going to be the same coordinates, and we know that this is 1. So that means this is going to be 1/2, and this is going to be the square root of 3 over 2. So x is the square root of 3 over 2. Y is 1/2. Okay. The next triangle, 45, 45, 90. Okay, 45, 45, 90. So erase some of this stuff here. So 45, 45, 90. So this is the angle. It's 45. The reference angle is 45. This is also 45, and this is 90. So it's root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. One thing I forgot about in the first one and the second one is the signs. We are in quadrant 3. So if we started at the origin, we'd have to go left and then down. So left means x is negative, and y is negative here. So you're going to have a negative and a negative coordinate. To get to this quadrant, we have to have 2 negative coordinates. Okay. And then the last one, you're going to have negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. Okay, so let me move these triangles out of the way. Okay. Okay, so now, if we do things like sine of, this is 210, got to erase, so 210. So let's say sine of 210, which is the same thing as 210 is 7 pi over 6. So sometimes they'll give it to you as a radian, 7 pi over 6. Sometimes they'll say 210. So you got to know how to convert them. Okay. Well, from earlier, we know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. On the unit circle, hypotenuse is always going to be 1 because it's the radius. Okay. That's going to be 1. And the opposite is always going to be the same as the y coordinate. So in this case for 210, the y coordinate is negative 1/2. So that means sine is negative 1/2. So if you know that relationship, you don't have to draw triangles anymore. If the triangles help you, please keep drawing triangles. I'd rather have you do that, as you hear my dog barking. I'd rather have you do that than not. Then do that and get it correct. Then it'll take you a little bit more time, but that's okay. All right. So for example, let's do cosine of 4 pi over 3. Okay. So cosine of 4 pi over 3. So again, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay. A cosine, so adjacent, is always going to be the x over the radius. So for 4 pi over 3, we have negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 over 1, which is the same as negative 1/2. Okay. Okay, so quadrant four. Quadrant four usually goes the fastest because it's just a repetition. Again, there's patterns. That's the nice thing about the unit circle. It's full of patterns, and once you kind of see the pattern, it goes a lot faster. Okay, so quadrant four. So quadrant four, to get to quadrant four, if we start from the origin, we go right and down. So right means positive x, down means negative. So first coordinate's going to be positive, second coordinate's going to be negative. That's how we're going to know which quadrant it's in. Okay, so again, the first one here, the first angle for this guy here, okay, is pi over 6. Or sorry, 11 pi over 6. So this is going to be a 30-degree reference angle. Okay, so again, 30, 60, 90. So this guy over here is going to be 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. And again, since x is negative, it's going to be negative 1/2. This guy is going to be the square root of 2 over 2. Y is negative. This guy is going to be the opposite of 30. So it's going to be, let's see, so 1/2 negative 3, negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so if we do something like tangent of 315, which is the same thing as 7 pi over 4. Okay, remember, tangent is y over x. Okay, y is the opposite side, x is the adjacent side from the center here. Okay, from the center angle. Okay, so 315, the coordinates are here. So we would go square root of 2 over 2 divided by the square root of 2 over 2, which is negative. Okay, so keep the first. Square root of 2 over 2 times the square root of 2 over 2. Well, these guys cancel each other out. We have a negative 1. These guys cancel each other out. So you're left with 1 over negative 1, which equals negative 1. Okay. So let's look at something like secant. So secant of 5 pi over 3, let's say. Well, secant is 1 over cosine. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and we know cosine, we know cosine is x over 1, or x over the radius, right? So really what we have is this guy here, this relationship here. Okay, so we have 1 divided by x over r, right? Well, let's see, 1 divided by, so multiply by the reciprocal. So really, secant is the same thing as r over x, the reciprocal of cosine. Okay, so you're just flipping the coordinates. All right, so let's solve the problem. So r is going to be 1, so radius is always 1. Okay, so now I'm going to do the problem now here. Over x, so x for pi over 3 is 1/2. So I have 1 divided by 1/2 multiplied by the reciprocal, and you get positive 2. So secant is positive 2. Okay, that's true of all secant, cosecant, cotangent. They're all the reciprocal. So if sine is, write this down. So if sine is y over r, cosecant is going to be r over y. Same thing with cotangent. See, tangent is y over x, so cotangent is going to be x over y. Okay, they're reciprocals of each other. So their ratios are reciprocals of each other. Okay, so from now on, you don't have to do triangles. Okay, so from now on, you do not have to do triangles. If you're comfortable using the methods I showed you, you can use those. So one more time, so let's write this down. So sine of theta, theta is the center angle, is y over r. R is radius, y coordinate. Okay, cosine is x over r. Tangent is y over x. Okay. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so that's r over y. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, which is r over x. And cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent, so that makes it y, x over y. Okay?